So, good afternoon, everyone. I guess it is noon. My name is Cindy Martin, and I'm with the Alzheimer's Association. I am a community educator. I'm also privileged to be on the Montana chapter board, as long as being an RN and working part-time at Billings Clinic in the coding department. So, I'm so glad you're all joining us today to learn a little bit on how we can live healthier. That is going to help my brain and our body. The reason I'm so involved with the Alzheimer's Association is my mother passed with Alzheimer's in 2012. Back then, I did not know about the Alzheimer's Association. I didn't have any resources. Here I am, an only child, and the nurse, I was supposed to do it all. And I now know that we did everything wrong. So today we're going to see how certain behaviors do affect our brains and our bodies and list some strategies for healthy decision making. And we're going to go over a few of these areas: sleep, smoking, mental health, physical activity, nutrition, cognitive engagement, and social engagement. So what can we do to help? So with the brain, it's our control center. But so there's like, 100 billion nerve cells or neurons, and they have this network. And that's how we get signals to go through the brain to help form our memories, our thoughts. Alzheimer's disease destroy these brain cells. So because the heart and brain work together, so whatever you do to help your heart and protect it, it is also helping your brain so that we can continue to operate it at its best. The heart and the brain need blood flow, and the brain depends on your oxygen and adequate blood flow to work well. So it receives 20 to 25% of the blood from every heartbeat. So that's really important. So that just shows how well that the heart and brain are working together. So we've kind of got a test here, I think. Alzheimer's is a normal part of aging. True or false? Well, the answer is false. Alzheimer's is a progressive and fatal brain disease, but the symptoms are usually developed very slowly and they get worse over time. It is not a normal part of aging. All right. And then Alzheimer's and other dementia, like I said, are not a normal part of aging. It's Dementia is just a general term. We call it our umbrella term. And that describes when we have problems with thinking and memory. And when they start to interfere with our daily life, which is in the healthcare, we say our activities of daily living. And since Alzheimer's is the most common cause, usually 60 to 70%, that's why we usually refer to it, Alzheimer's and dementia kind of interchangeably. But there's many different kinds of dementia, and we can go into that later. However, there's drug and non-drug options that can help with symptoms and may have the ability to slow the disease process. But what we're going to learn today is how some healthy behaviors may lower the risk of dementia. So our health is affected by our genes, our family history. We can't really do a lot with that. Environment, we can control some of our environment and our lifestyle. Mostly we can do with the lifestyle changes. So your healthy habits will be helpful for you and beneficial to your whole body, heart, brain. And as we know, if you exercise more, your joints and everything like that. So always check your blood pressure. That's usually, when you go into your physician's office, your primary provider, they're always checking your blood pressure. And if you notice, a lot of times then they get your height and weight and stuff like that. So we want to check your blood pressure. Blood sugars are important, your cholesterol, and all your other labs. And they're showing now that many factors that increase the risk of heart disease and stroke may also increase that risk of cognitive decline and dementia. The number one you're going to see is control your blood pressure or hypertension. For diabetes, control your sugars if you're diabetic, or a lot of times they're called pre-diabetes. And then midlife obesity. Um, our metabolism slows down as the older we get, so it makes it harder to keep our weight at a steady um, number. So we need to watch that closely. And then you all have heard about your cholesterol and what they talk about for your heart. So remember, what's good for the heart is good for the brain. So you get a win-win situation out of that after we learn some of these things. So it's never too early to or too late to incorporate healthy habits. Is this true or false? Sorry, I'm slow at moving these slides, but the correct answer is true, because people of all ages can benefit from adding in many more healthy behaviors. So here's some tips on how we can get healthier. And we can see you can get sleep. Sleep's a good one. Be smoke-free, take care of your mental health, get moving, get the exercise, eat right, challenge yourself, stay connected. And we'll go into those in a little bit more detail on them and give you examples. Quality sleep. A lot of times it's hard sleeping, because I know with my mom who had the Alzheimer's, she was a night owl. Well, her being a night owl when I was growing up, because of their business they had, it was difficult to get her to go to bed when I wanted to get her to go to bed. But as long as she got the quality sleep, we just adapted her where she went to sleep later, but she slept in later too. So long as you get some quality sleep in a good amount of time, 6 to 8 hours is ideal. So why? Because it impacts our whole health, and it'll help with our blood pressure and our blood sugar. So inadequate sleep can cause problems with your memory and thinking. You're tired. You're not thinking straight. I'm sure we've all had episodes like that. We want to get it better. So what can help you get a good night's sleep? How can you minimize those any disruptions? So what changes? So what kind of environment works for you? Not everyone's the same. My husband likes the radio on to go to sleep. I can't stand it, so we take turns. But some tips could be you can control the room temperature or the amount of light, um, or turn off the screens before bedtime to help wind down, either on your laptop, your iPad, the TV. A lot of people have TV. Or then if you are having problems sleeping, talk to your doctor and he can see what's going on. It might be the time regarding a medication or an adverse effect of your medication that's causing this, or the time you're taking a medication, or if you have any alcohol intake before that, or a lot of stress, as we all know, makes one's mind work too hard. So we can't get a good night's sleep. So smoke free, and we've all heard about don't smoke, because that does have a very direct impact on the health of your brain and definitely also on your heart. So they're saying, because of the studies they've done, because of our research with the Alzheimer's Association, that smoking does increase the risk of cognitive decline and may increase the risk of dementia. So if you quit smoking, we can reduce that chance of developing the cognitive decline back down to the level of non-smokers, and that would be something that we all would like. So be smoke free. What works? How can you stop smoking? What resources are available online or in the community? Talk with your physician, and they can give you there's some medications, the patches, or it can be support groups. They could have a smoking cessation program or a strategy that works for you, but reach out. There is help to help go through it, and it's hard. I smoked, and it was hard to quit. Um, but I did it for the, I think I did it because of my family. My son uh, developed asthma, and you couldn't smoke around him, which was fine. In Montana winters, as we're having here in Billings, we just got 10 inches of snow and it's still snowing. Sitting outside in the garage, trying to have that cigarette is no treat. So, and we all have to take care of ourselves. Prioritize yourself. Make time for taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be much help of taking care of others. So, what is your stress level? Do you have any symptoms of anxiety or depression? Because those affect the health of your brain. So many healthy habits continue to good mental health. If you feel good about yourself, you're helping that brain health. What do you enjoy doing? Take a break. Focus on something just for you. It's okay to ask for help in some things that you can't do. And I know as caregivers, if you're taking care of someone with dementia, it is very stressful. And that's where it's really, really important that you do take care of yourself. What do you like to do? Take a nap, which would help with your sleep too. If you didn't get a good night's sleep, go for a walk, helps with the exercise, dance. Is that something you enjoy doing? Or maybe you like to bake or sing a song or read a book, watch a specific TV show. What do you like? Go with what you like. Take care of yourself. Because remember, then you'll be also helping others. Physical activity can always improve our brain health. And that also would help down with your joints, your weight. So if we have that cardiovascular activity, it will decrease the risk of cognitive decline. So in physical activity may directly benefit brain cells and reduce other risk factors. So any increase in movement can have an impact in overall health. And usually it's harder when we get older to know exactly, we can't go out and ride our bike. Well, some of us can't, or, balance issues and things like that. Do something that you enjoy doing. Walking is number one. It could be a great way to build some endurance, go with somebody, be safe. So, can you plan what other activities you can do? I have a desk job, so I try to get up at least every hour and move my legs or lift some weights just to make sure that I'm moving, get that blood flowing. But who else, or try to go to the gym is also another good way. Or if we ever get some good weather, go out for a nice walk around the neighborhood, take the stairs instead of the elevator in certain places. Um, so short amounts of physical activity add up. Remember that you don't have to really go out for a 3 mile walk right away. Maybe you can break it down, just go a couple of times during the day, but make it fun. Ask your friends or family members or neighbors to join you. Next one is the eating healthy. So eating an overall healthy diet may reduce your risk of many diseases. Diabetics decrease their sugar, watch their carb intake. If you're on already have a heart issue, you're going to watch the amount of for your cholesterol. If you want to watch the amount of fats, there's always. So the thing here is you just can't eat anything but fruit and vegetables. Well, that's not true. We just have to really kind of eat in moderation, which is easier said than done sometimes, especially like now with Easter time. You have Easter candy sitting out loud, but you don't need to go take a piece every time you walk by if you do have a concern with your weight. So nutritious food is the fuel for our brain. So If you eat a balanced diet, and that's the key, it can reduce your risk of heart disease, cancer, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, stroke, diabetes. My mom had she followed her diet towards the end of her time. For breakfast, she only had a piece of toast and coffee. That's all she'd ever want. And then she would eat lightly because she was really afraid she might get heavy. Bless my mom, she passed at the age of 91. And as long as I can remember, she weighed 112 pounds. She was 5'2". And it was like she ever got up to like 115, 16, like over the holidays. My goodness, all we would get to eat at that time was more fruits and vegetables, it seems. But she was very conscious of that part. There's different ideas of or diets. So remember fruits and vegetables, nuts, beans, and whole grains, lean meats, fish, and poultry. Limit your sugar and salt, healthier fats. And if you really are struggling like this, if you go to your primary care provider, they can refer you on to the dietitian and they can help develop a meal plan that would fit your needs and what you're used to. A lot of people, are with hunting and they use the game that they have and different healthy ways to incorporate that into your meals. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more work. How can you cook differently to make their things healthier? Instead of always using butter, maybe you can use an oil or things like that, and try new foods. That's what's exciting. I'm one that tries a new recipe every week. Sometimes my husband said this is a keeper, and sometimes he said, well, it was a good try. So we always just want to try new things and in my house, increase more vegetables. Excuse me. Like I said, use olive oil instead of butter. Use sodium-free spices or flavors instead of salt. We don't, a lot of people just salt their foods before they even taste it. If you could try to cut back on that, yes, you can have salt, but we got to watch it. And ways to determine how much sodium is blood tests. But focus on what you can add in, more fruits and veggies instead of what you can't have. Yes, you can have pasta and bread, but you can get like the whole wheat pasta, or you can eat the whole wheat bread. Those type of things will help. So choose your leaner cuts of meat too. Turkey, chicken, fish are better than a rib steak with the amount of fat. So back in 2019, the World Health Organization concluded that vitamins and supplements should not be recommended to reduce the risk of cognitive decline and dementia. So be careful of those potential false claims. Focus on the balanced nutrition to promote health, because a lot of times they'll say there was a study done, but you don't know what the sample size. If you only asked 4 people or looked at 4 people, like if they were taking these vitamins and supplements versus if they do a study that has thousands of people, it really will give you a different outcome. But please talk with a healthcare professional about any concerns or any of the certain vitamins and supplements, because a lot of times you can take it in and it just, your body gets rid of it because you can't store too much, or you might have a toxic level. Well, if he told me to take this amount of vitamin D because here in the wintertime in Montana, we don't get a lot of sunshine out when we're out and about. But that my friend had, she was told, oh my goodness, you have a toxic level. How much are you taking? Well, she thought one was good, so why not take 2 pills? So because it's just a vitamin, so we have to make sure we're safe when we're doing that. So talk with your provider. Now, challenging your brain may help lower your risk of cognitive decline. True or false? Yes, the answer is true. When we continue to challenge our minds, we may lower that risk of cognitive decline. And a lot of these, you said they were using the words may. It's not definitive. but they're looking with all the research that's are going on, and we use the evidence-based guidelines for our Alzheimer's presentations, that they have the facts and the data to support that. But it's looking at all of these things that we can control to make me a healthier brain is definitely assisting with the decline in our dementia stats. Challenge yourself. Challenge your mind. It might have short and long-term benefits of your brain. What can you do? I'm still working part-time. This week I was covering from a coworker and I had to learn a couple of new things. And it's like, wow, might have taken me a little bit longer, but by the end of the week, I felt good that we were learning something new. My mom always did crossword puzzles all the time. Even through her later stages of Alzheimer's, she still wanted that paper and pen and her dictionary. Her dictionary was so well used, and I still have it as a souvenir that she would look up the words and she could do it. I never got that trait from her, but so what is that cognitive engagement? It's a term that means we're keeping our minds active and challenging, okay? Learning new skills, trying something new, engaging in ongoing learning, crossword puzzles. I always have a jigsaw puzzle going on. What can make you think? A lot of those search words, even trying to focus, go ahead, try something new. So if you're keeping your mind active, that forms new connections among those brain cells. Okay. And then where that's also encouraging that blood flow to the brain. So it's going to help your heart and your brain. Mentally stimulating activities may maintain or even improve your cognition. Sometimes they say go back to school. Well, engage in formal education can provide some protection against developing dementia. Read a book, learn something new, try a new hobby or a skills. What's a fun challenge? What kind of activity? What topics would you like to learn more about? We don't want to just sit around and do nothing. So a lot of times we encourage people to take a class at a local college or community center on a new topic or skill. A lot of times, even at the senior citizen centers here in Billings, they have new projects. They'll learn how to, sometimes, hey, let's go build a birdhouse or paint something or some activity, which is always fun and you're learning something new. Try a new cooking technique, learn a new language. I think that would be really challenging because, but there's different tapes and things like that you can use if you want to do that. Building something, learn to play a new strategy game, playing games, having that competition, card games, keeping yourself on your toes would be really helpful. And you also want to stay connected with others. You don't want to isolate yourself because if you're sitting home alone, you're probably not eating right, you're probably not exercising. The only challenge you have may be the TV is watching a different show. So that's what we want to avoid, because it may support brain health, living longer with fewer disabilities. So, and those who feel well connected tend to make healthier choices in other areas. And that's what's really key here. So, how do you like to stay connected to others? How can you get involved in my community or your community? Are there any clubs and groups I'd like to join? I myself just joined a bunco group. I knew one person who I'd met asked if I wanted to come, and I said yes. So I met 12 new people that day. It was really exciting. I can't remember all their names, of course, it seems, but learning something new like that. With my mom, the social activities when she went into the assisted living part first helped her get to know and how what's happening there at the assisted living. The people that lived there longer before her could get her involved with that. And then she was also then helping any new people. So place of ownership and being connected to those. So you can volunteer for a cause that's important to me. And that's what I'm doing. I'm so proud to be able to be associated with the Alzheimer's Association. If we can reach out and inform people and they can learn and know what's out there for them and the resources that they can use to help make future plans. If you're a caregiver, to know how to help you and what your expectations are and what's coming, and is really great. Schedule regular phone calls. Do you call your friend? Do you see your neighbor every day? Visit that family or friend. Participate in things that are going on. So again, just to kind of go over, get some quality sleep, be smoke free, take care of your mental health, get moving, eat healthy, challenge yourself, and stay connected. Those all seem like things, oh yeah, we've heard this all the time. On TV, you hear some good, each one talks a little bit about it. But I think the number one they've been saying now, number one is control your blood pressure. And then you can go down what's affecting you. I already do get a good night's sleep and I don't smoke. So then move on to the next one. Maybe I need to get more exercise and start eating better. Do all of them ideally, but where can you focus on to get started? So what can the Alzheimer's Association do? We have some wonderful resources out there. Anyone that has, like especially a caregiver that's taking care of a loved one, or even if you are in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, if you call our 24/7 helpline, it's down there, 800-272-3900. We have master prepared clinicians that can help you. They would take your name and information the first time you call. Then, if you'd call back again at a later date, they already have that information and they can move on and they can say, oh, did that help? They could give you some hints. They can give you some suggestions. They can explain part of the process of what's happening right there. Also, you can just go to alz.org. We have some wonderful things. They have things on safety, on driving, future needs. And then it's also hard to find out in your community what's there to help you. A lot of times in our smaller communities, they don't have as many options as they do in the larger cities. So that makes it really hard. But if they have the computer, they can get on the alzheimer's.org and kind of go from there. Because the Alzheimer's Association, excuse me, we have different presentations. Um, I go out into the community and ask, and I've done it at churches. I've driven to Absarki, Big Timber, Roundup are the main ones. We've done a lot of the Zoom, and we do have the virtual education classes or education modules that are coming out. We can go through them. The 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's has been really popular. The understanding Alzheimer's and dementia is great. And a lot of times with the professional, I have gone in and done one on communications and behaviors. Then we have ones like for staying independence, managing money. So we have a lot out there that we're always willing to share. So if anybody has any questions, thoughts, comments, or they want more information, you can contact our executive director, Melanie Williams, or you can connect with me, Cindy Martin. We will do whatever we can and pass the word, and we'd be happy to help. Early detection is key, and we're finding what we have now 21,000 people diagnosed with Alzheimer's in Montana. And so those stats are they're rising. And any ideas or requests, let us know, and we'd be happy to do what we can or share the resources that we already have based on all the resources. Here in Montana, our Alzheimer's walks will be coming up. Usually they're spread out in September. Billings is October 11th. We also have the longest day as a fundraiser coming up here in Billings. I'm chairing a golf tournament, and you can have any type of fundraise for that, because what's really exciting is any of the fundraising we do here in Montana, about 50% stays in Montana to help us. Plus, we get the benefit of you being able to utilize all the fundraising money is put into other things like our different brochures or these different programs. So it's a win-win situation for us. So if we can get you to be involved, call the Alzheimer's 24/7 number or go online. Um, Someone here will definitely be helping. Okay?
Yep, and don't forget the Alzheimer's Association has great resources. We link to a lot
Yes.
of those on the state of Montana benefit plan, the Healthcare and Benefits Division website. But they have far, far more on their own website, and they're a great resource for whatever it is you have questions about or are going through.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a great day, everybody.
Yep. Bye, guys.